I've been putting off making this video because I've been getting in my head about this YouTube thing. I posted my first video, just putting it out there, how I was feeling, and that I'm going to use this channel as a bit of therapy, share my thoughts, maybe help people feel less alone. It felt good. Got a couple of views. I mentioned it on TikTok, the new channel. Some people subscribed. And now there's been subscribers trickling in. Yesterday I got 2 subscribers. They've been trickling in. I'm at 16. And I was talking to some friends I made when I was in Darwin, and we've stayed in touch. And they have started watching the channel, which is mortifying. The fact that people I know are watching this, I find mortifying, which is weird. I'm more comfortable with strangers watching it than I am with people I know. Go figure. Anyway, they basically just said, we love what you're doing. And it was so validating. So I'm channeling that. It helps to know that people are enjoying it. So here I am posting another video. I was getting in my head, going, I need to plan it, I need to have a hook, I need to do this, I need to do that. But what did I say just a couple of videos ago? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to obsess over thumbnails and editing and doing a hook and blah, 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 blah. So I've jumped on, and it's rambly, but there is a point to the video. And it's quite relevant to what I'm going through at the moment, and I think you are going to find it quite relevant because I know lots of people go through this. In fact, I posted a short about it a couple of days ago. When we have a goal or something we really want, but we're just not achieving it, and in fact, sometimes we're not even working towards it. It's not because you're lazy. That was the message in my video. You're not incompetent. And someone commented on it saying, oh, well, am I just not enough then? Oh, that hurt reading that. Oh, my goodness. You know what it is? It's our immunity to change, or our resistance to change. We're just so good at getting in our own way. And I just want to put out there this phrase, immunity to change. That is something that Lisa Leahy talks about in a framework she designed with another person. Robert Keegan, that's it. Robert Keegan and Lisa Leahy. But it will resonate. And theirs is more in the realm of business, but I like to use it in the realm of personal development. We are so resistant to change. So let's talk about this. I'm going to talk about myself because I can't really talk for you, can I? Once you watch this video, I think you should go through this exercise. And in fact, I have got a PDF that I did a workshop. I delivered a workshop using it to some people in my community last year. And they found it quite helpful. So maybe I'll set it up. How do I do it? I think I'll have to collect your emails so I can send it to you, but don't worry, I'm not going to spam you. I set up an email list 2 years ago and I think I've sent 3 emails and the last one was probably over a year ago. So don't stress. Anyway, I'll put a link to that. It's basically working you through what I'm going to talk you through now. So if you think of a goal, something you really want, think about mine. I want to earn money through YouTube, or I want to do work that I love. It's important to me because I want to enjoy life and I want to do something. I want to do work that brings me joy so that I feel like I have some purpose. So I feel like I'm contributing not only to my life, but to the lives of others. I want a creative outlet. So there's some reasons why it's important to me. Goal, why is it important? What do I need to do differently to achieve this goal? Oh my goodness. And don't obsess like spending hours answering this. This is just like, quick, couple of minutes, spit it out. So what do I need to do differently to achieve the goal of earning money through YouTube? I need to start showing up consistently, posting videos to build the confidence and to build the skills to figure out what my niche is. I think that's the biggest one. Showing up consistently on YouTube, making more videos, carving out the time to do it. Here's where we get to the juicy stuff. You now need to think about how you are self-sabotaging. I don't think any of us do it on purpose, but we are hardwired to keep ourselves safe. Our body, our mind, we want to be safe, right? And when there's something new and scary, often our brains interpret that, our bodies interpret that as unsafe. And so, of course, we're going to avoid it and self-sabotage. So things I do that are self-sabotaging my goal to make money on YouTube, lots of negative self-talk, that's a big one for me, actually, negative self-talk. This part takes a bit more thought, but you get the idea, right? So things you're doing that are self-sabotaging, but also things you aren't doing. Things I'm not doing, I'm not carving out the time to put energy into this goal. Of course, it's not going to happen if I'm not doing that. So I'm actually going to go do this worksheet after I stop this video. Maybe it would have made more sense to do it before, but that's not how I'm rolling. I just needed to get on and do the video. Okay. We're getting deeper and deeper now. We've talked about your goal, why it's important to you, what you'd need to do differently. We then looked at things you do or things you don't do that are self-sabotaging. Now we need to fucking understand why we're self-sabotaging. Yes, we're hardwired to keep ourselves safe, blah, blah, blah. Yes, Rosie, I know. Yeah, but that's still not helpful, is it? It's like, well, great. It's trying to keep me safe, but it's wrong. So, la-di-da. The first thing you need to do, there's a couple of questions, maybe 3 questions that you should really think about. Think about why does the thought of stopping these self-sabotaging behaviors, why does it feel so difficult or uncomfortable or scary to you? For me, I feel like I'm going to fail. People are going to judge me. I base my self-worth on the opinions of others. That's not a good thing, but it is what I do. And then think, what would you lose if you stopped these self-sabotaging behaviors? What would I lose? I don't know. What would I lose? I can think of things I would gain. But that's when you need to question it some more. If you're still with me, you're awesome. This is a very long video. What would I lose? So I was then just thinking of positive things. I'm like, well, I could grow my channel. I could start earning an income or some presence online. But no, we're thinking about why we self-sabotage. If there were only those upsides, we'd just do it. So what am I afraid of losing? Well, it's really important to me to put out high quality work, to be taken seriously, to be respected. That's a big one. So I've just said, the first question was, why does stopping the behaviors, the self-sabotaging behaviors, feel so difficult? Well, my fear of failure. What would I lose if I stopped the self-sabotaging behaviors? Well, I could possibly put out videos that are shit. And it's important to me that I put out good videos, for example, because I like to do things well. And part of that's my conditioning, right, from school and university and just being brought up that way. But that's the truth of it. So now, I'm thinking of the two answers I just gave to the two questions. Why is it so scary when I think about stopping the self-sabotaging behaviors? And what have I got to lose if I do stop the behaviors? And with the answers to those two questions in mind, you need to think about maybe some competing commitments that you have. Let me unpack that more. I have a commitment to show up as my best self, for example, which is what I was saying when I was saying what could I potentially lose? Well, I could show up with shitty videos, and that's not showing up as my best self. So I could show up as someone I feel like I'm not, and it is so important to me to stay true. I got a fucking tattoo of it on my arm. So of course, if I'm scared of going against that commitment or that belief, then of course I'm going to self-sabotage, because I feel like it could undermine who I am as a person if I put out work before I'm ready, put out videos before I'm ready. But maybe we should unpack that a bit more. What are the assumptions I am making to hold these beliefs? I mentioned that when I think about stopping my self-sabotaging behaviors, it feels so difficult, uncomfortable, scary, because I have a fear of failure. So my big assumption is that if my videos don't do well, I'm a failure. I'm assuming if my videos don't get many views, it means I'm a failure. If I don't get many subscribers, I'm a failure. And that if I don't become an overnight success, that I am not showing up as Rosie. Because Rosie does things well. She graduated as valedictorian from her MBA. She got into an excellence program when she did her teaching degree. Blah, blah, blah. That's Rosie, top achiever. She's awesome at everything. I have tied my self-worth to that. Holy fuck, I kind of knew that. I've never said that out loud. How sad's that? Fuck. They're big assumptions I'm making. And even just me saying them out loud, I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. Of course my self-worth isn't tied to what grades I get or how successful the channel is. Rubbish. So that one, when you're sitting down thinking about assumptions and answering the questions about why does it feel so scary to stop self-sabotaging behavior and what would you lose if you stop those behaviors, take some time on that. We're unpacking why we self-sabotage, which is often not something we spend much time on. A simple example, and in fact, a follower sent me a video sort of talking about this, is you think of a hot stove. We instinctively know not to touch a hot stove because it's going to hurt. So if someone told you to touch the hot stove, most people would not, because they know it's going to hurt. It keeps them safe. For whatever reason, our bodies have the same visceral reaction when we want to do something new because, oh my God, safety alert, it's not safe. We have the reaction of fight or flight, this is life and death, but it's not. But the reaction is the same. It is that intense. We're a bit flawed, aren't we, as humans sometimes? All right. Anyway, the next bit is thinking about going a bit deeper than we did just before, like the root cause of these beliefs that we hold, the root cause of the self-sabotage. And what Robert Keegan and Lisa Leahy call it as your frame of reference. I think they call it that. That might have been the term I came up with. I don't remember. But I don't want to be putting this out there pretending it's mine. I was heavily influenced by them on this sort of framework. So yeah, what's my frame of reference? Well, I was always congratulated as a child and rewarded when I got good grades. I felt good. People would praise me. when I didn't do well, there wasn't really that support, was there? And I felt really shit. But then when I did well, I felt great. So it was just reinforced. And I think that's come from, parenting, teachers, society at large. And, sometimes the fact that pursuing creativity isn't something that can make you money. I know my dad struggled with that, and that's something I saw because he was an artist, a sculptor, painter. And for some time he did try to make a living through that, and he found it really hard. And he very much, I think, his self-worth was, it took a battering when people would see how much he would charge for something and they go, I'm not paying that, or it's not worth that, or whatever. So I guess that's something I was exposed to as well. And he ended up doing work that wasn't his creativity. I don't know. It's one to reflect on, isn't it? And then the last thing you need to do is think about, well, how the hell am I going to overcome this? It's great. I've done this self-reflection exercise, but now what, Rosie? Now what? What can be really helpful is to get curious about your big assumptions. So one of the big assumptions I mentioned earlier was that if I don't put out schmick wonderful videos, that I am a failure. Says who? And whatever other assumptions I said or that I am going to come up with. I'm getting really hot. I turned the aircon off so there's not as much background noise. Oh my God, it's hot. And it's affecting my concentration. Anyway, think about your assumptions and write down some examples that kind of demonstrate it doesn't have to be that way. I have seen YouTube channels with tens of thousands of subscribers, more sometimes, and I look at their videos and go, really? That's not flash. It's not that amazing. It was, a bit boring, really. I could maybe do better. And they're successful. They're not a failure. There's an example. Look at it as an experiment. You might have other assumptions and just try to test them. Test these assumptions. Maybe your assumptions are correct, but I bet you will find that a lot of them are incorrect. So have an open mind. Make sure you've written down all your assumptions. There's going to be more than one. And just start testing them out. Do they hold up to scrutiny? Take notes. Talk to someone about it. That's all I have to say. I will put a link. I need to go set it up now so that you can download the PDF if you'd like to do that. If you found this useful, mean the world if you sent me a chocky milk, aka a tip to say thank you. I love my chocolate milk. I also do really love iced coffee these days. I'll put a link to that if you feel like it. But otherwise, if you've made it this far, I really appreciate you. And the fact that you have persevered through this video tells me you really want to make some change. So well done. Download the PDF, see where it gets you. You're worth it. You matter. And you are enough.